Hey everyone, Rod DeGeorge here, and welcome to Different Strokes, a series where I invite select players from all over the world to pick a piece of music and jam over it. I will then jam over that same piece and we'll both talk a little bit about our thought process and how we approached it, all in hopes of inspiring new ideas and fresh approaches for all of us. I hope you enjoy. Peace.
On the riverside.
Hey guys, it's Chris Brooks from Sydney, Australia. I hope you're doing well. So I had a lot of fun doing a solo over Crossroads, which Rod asked me to do for this series. I wasn't directly influenced by Clapton growing up, but a lot of my influences were. So I sort of grew up in the 80s and 90s, shred sort of stuff, but my influences grew up on a lot of classic rock. So I've kind of always appreciated the bending, phrasing, vibrato, rhythmic element of classic rock, and I've been trying to sort of incorporate that in little bits over the years into my more shred oriented sort of stuff, rather than just be, you know, wall to wall 30-second notes all the time. So what I tried to do with this solo is not so much overthink it and throw the kitchen sink in. I think there's a tendency for, not to talk up my own ability or anything like that, but when you come from a certain background as I have, there can be a tendency to look at something as seemingly simple as Crossroads and try to complicate it and throw in as many different tonalities and techniques as possible. And I even started to have those thoughts early on. I thought, oh, how can I put like a real twist on this? And I thought, well, you know, it's not so much put a twist on it, but try and put the exhilaration into it that a current player, you know, or a new guitar fan might sort of enjoy as a hybrid of classic rock influence and sort of, you know, more high gain, high facility technique. So I've tried to go for exhilaration rather than being tricky. There are elements where I've played fast, but for me, hopefully, and hopefully for you too, it served the exhilaration factor. That was sort of the goal. When you have a brief for a solo, you've got something to check back on every time you do a take. Yeah, does that serve the interests of what I set out to do? So rather than try and impress you, I've just gone for what I enjoyed and what made me feel exhilarated as a player, and hopefully you as a listener. So there are fast stuff, there is alternate picking, there's some legato, economy picking. Melodically, I've thrown in some chromaticism, some passing tones, but only where I sort of felt like going for that. You know, it wasn't a pre-planned thing. Oh, I'd do that tricky sort of tonality that I studied in music school right there, you know what I mean? So hopefully it still has the approach of the abandon of classic rock, but with my kind of style. So hope you enjoy it and check it out.
Hey everyone, Rod DeGeorge here, and I hope you enjoyed our take on Crossroads by Cream. I'd like to thank Chris for doing such a great job as always. Such a great player and such a pleasure for me to be able to jam with him and also to hear a little bit about how he approached this song. Now, as far as how I approached this, I didn't do anything crazy harmonically. I pretty much kept it straight rock sound. That being said, like if we're playing, I look in this blues progression and I look at each chord individually sometimes. In this case, to me, they're all dominant chords, 7ths, 9ths, 13ths, etc. So over each chord, I could then play like the major pentatonic, minor pentatonic, or blues scale with that minor to major third in A. Okay, that type of sound. I could also use the Mixolydian. So I go between all of those as I'm playing. So like I said, pretty straight ahead rock approach to this. Now one point that may be of interest is how I approached the first turnaround. Over that 5 chord, the E, I superimposed an F sharp minor 7. So here, and then I added the minor third, major third of the E, then resolved to the root. It kind of gives a 13 sound to it because we have the root, the E, the 13, the 11, 9, and root again. And then we come down here, 13, 11, 9, minor third, major third, root. So to me that gives a cool sound. So sometimes I'll do stuff like that. And then when it turned around to start the progression over again, basically what I did over the A chord, I just did an A major arpeggio. Okay, and then when it went to the D chord, I actually did an A minor arpeggio over that. However, over the D, it gives it a cool sound. Basically what we have here, looking at it from the D, we have 7, 5, and 9. So it's almost gives like a D9 sound. But hopefully that gives you some insight as far as how I approach this. Again, it was pretty straightforward rock blues for me. I didn't do anything crazy as far as my harmonic choices, but it's always a fun song to play over, and hopefully you enjoyed this. All right, if you did enjoy this, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and be kept up to date with what's going on here. I have all kinds of things. Hopefully you'll enjoy some of them. Be well. Thanks. Peace.